Hey guys, welcome to Real Life Crime with Kim. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. This is going to be the first video for our channel, and I'm super excited to share this story with you guys. It is actually one that I covered about 2 years ago on TikTok. So I really just kind of wanted to share that video. It's very detailed. This story is about Armin Meiwes. I'm probably butchering his name. He is a real life cannibal. The story is very graphic. It's very disturbing. It does have lots of trigger warnings. So I hope you enjoy. Please make sure that you subscribe, leave me your comments. I would like to know what you think about this. And if you have suggestions on stories that you want me to cover, I am open to that as well. And I just look forward to watching this account grow. Have a great night. Tonight, I want to talk about this guy right here. His name is Armin Meiwes, and I'm probably butchering that. He's one sick dude. So I want to start this off by saying trigger warnings for everything. The guy has some crazy sick fantasies. So he has always had some cannibalistic fetishes and fantasies. It started with him as early as the age of 10. When he was 10, he decided he was going to create a imaginary friend by the name of Frankie. And later on, as we move into the story, you're going to see why that is important. By the age of 12, he started having cannibalistic desires, and he would fantasize about killing his friends and eating them so that they would not ever leave him. Cannot even imagine thinking that at that age. So Meiwes lived with his mom up until she passed away in 1999. When she passed away, he stood to inherit their childhood home, which I will show a better picture in just a little bit. This is where a lot of his crimes are going to take place. So basically, he lived alone. He liked nudie pictures. He eventually started craving more and more extreme materials. He started having more desires for like his cannibalistic fetishes, to the point that in 2000 he went to a website called the Cannibal Cafe, and he posted a advertisement, shall I say, looking for a young man, well-built, ages 18 to 30, and basically his ad stated that he was looking for someone that was willing to be slaughtered and consumed. He received a lot of replies to this ad, shockingly. And one in particular, a gentleman by the name of Borg Jose, and I'm probably saying that all wrong too, agreed to be his willing participant, shall I say. So he paid a visit to Meiwes' home, which is this house right here, with the intention of basically being killed and eaten. But when the time came, he could not go through with it, and so Meiwes did untie him and let him go. He stated that he would not consume and kill and consume anyone who would not do it willingly. So after his encounter with Jose fell through and he was not able to kill and consume him, he went back to this message board and the Cannibal Cafe, and posting under the same imaginary name of Frankie, which is that imaginary friend that he had as a child, he basically stated that he was looking for someone to willingly be slaughtered and consumed. Basically the same ad that he used to lure Jose to his home. This is then when he encountered 43-year-old burned Jurgen Brandis. And again, butchering these names, I apologize. And so Brandis was a bisexual man who was in a relationship with a long-term girlfriend, but he had a secret desire to be killed and eaten. Not really sure why anybody would have that kind of desire. I personally would not. So he particularly craved mutilation. So after reading the article with, or the advertisement for, that Meiwes put in, he believed that he would be the one that could help him achieve this fantasy that he had. So basically they discussed the best way for him to be consumed, and subsequently of how Meiwes would dispose of the body. So after about a month or so of exchanging messages, it was around the 9th of March in 2001, and Brandis went to the home, this one right here, of Meiwes. So Meiwes' home was super cluttered, super chaotic. It was just in total shambles. So once he had Brandis inside the home, he took him into his bedroom. At that point, they did the deed, and then Meiwes ended up showing him to his slaughter rooms, which are some of these rooms that you see right here. And then this is just another picture of Meiwes that I found. But like there's a bed with like chains and stuff to it, some type of torture cage, and then this is, I guess, the bathroom that Brandis ultimately was killed in. So basically, Meiwes ended up feeding him a bunch of sleeping pills, alcohol, an entire bottle of cough medicine, that sort of thing, until he was drowsy. So once he was drowsy, they began what they called their main course. So before all of this happens, though, Meiwes ends up setting up a video camera. So he is planning to film this entire event. Absolutely disgusting, if you ask me. So his first thing that he did was basically try to castrate him with his mouth. But unfortunately, he kept bleeding like violently, and he was unable to castrate him completely. So in order to finish the job, he ends up using a kitchen knife. Again, I said this is very graphic. This is very disgusting. But during this entire time, Brandis is conscious. I cannot even think about the pain that this guy was in, even though he was losing all of this blood. Then Brandis ends up putting him, not Brandis, but Meiwes takes Brandis and puts him in this bathtub right here that you see in this picture. And that is where he lays, dying, bleeding out. But he makes like a really weird request. He asks Meiwes if they can eat his genitals together. Dying very, very slowly, and it was about 10 hours later from when all of this started, and he still had not passed away yet. So Brandis decided to go ahead and just end it, and he took a knife to Brandis's neck, and basically said, like, I waited horrified for the end after doing the deed, but it took so terribly long. So once Brandis was dead, Meiwes' cannibalism fetishes and fantasies had finally become reality. So he took Brandis's body and he hung him on a meat hook in one of these slaughter rooms. I'm not sure, it doesn't really show a picture of which room they actually had him in, but basically he dissected the body into smaller parts and stored those parts in his freezer so that he could gradually consume them over the next 10 months. So by this point, Meiwes has gotten a taste of human flesh and satisfied his cannibalistic need, and has decided that he is going to go out in search of his next victim. So he goes back to the Cannibal Cafe in 2002, and basically under that same name, Frankie, that we talked about in part 1, starts posting again that he's looking for, you know, the same thing, someone that is willingly ready to be mutilated, not mutilated, but killed and consumed. He also talks and brags about already eating human body parts at this point. And so some of the users do start to get concerned about possible criminal activity. And that part baffles me, because I do not understand why they are all of a sudden, you know, concerned with, you know, criminal activity. I mean, for goodness sakes, you are on a forum that basically has people looking for other people that want to be cannibals. Like, all of you want to eat human flesh. So how you are just now concerned, I don't know. It amazes me. So on December 11th of 2002, Meiwes' home was actually raided by local police. So once police were able to make entry into Meiwes' home, they ended up finding these slaughter rooms, and then they also found Brandis's remains in the freezer where Bernard had put those parts. But the biggest thing that they found was, if you remember in part 1, he had recorded the entire thing. So they were able to obtain those videotapes and use that as evidence, and it had the entire thing recorded on it. They also went through his computer and they found all the correspondences with Brandis and other potential victims. And it was at this point that he was arrested and he was convicted of manslaughter. He only received an 8-year prison. So after only receiving that 8-year prison sentence, the German courts felt like that was not enough for his crimes. So in 2005, they ordered a retrial after prosecutors were not happy with, Meiwes' manslaughter sentence. So it was about a year later, and he was finally sentenced to life in prison, where he still remains. This story to me is just crazy. I can't imagine what is going through someone's mind to be able to do that to someone. And then on the other side of it, I cannot fathom what someone is thinking to be willingly participating in something like this as the victim. It's bad enough when these killers go out and they hunt their victims and they are unwilling participants, but then you have someone that is willing to, basically die a slow death with someone consuming your body parts and knowing that, and it's okay. I'll never understand that. Let me know in the comments what you think about this story. I would love to hear it, and I hope everyone has a great night.